Well, welcome to the Western Cape Teachers Forum, a platform where we educate, empower, and excel. This is the first show for 2022 after an extended break. January and the first few weeks at school are busy places, and so we weren't able to connect. But welcome to a from a very cool and mild Cape Town, city of Cape Town. I must say, after the heat wave we've experienced over the last couple of weeks, this cool weather is welcoming, and so please let us know where you're watching from tonight. Thanks for tuning in. It's an absolute privilege for you to support us as a platform. We've got some two awesome guests tonight, so please stay tuned for what's coming. It's quite an exciting one. I want to use this opportunity to wish all our schools who are returning back to on Monday to into the full capacity. To the digital timetable, all the best and strength. I know some schools are experiencing some readiness challenges in terms of class teaching venues and numbers and stretch resources in terms of teachers. But all the best for that. As teachers, we always bounce back and we conquer the challenges that gets thrown our way. So that's coming the Monday, the 7th of Feb. So everything of the best. And also, I mean, there were schools who were already in the swing of things as of last year. They were able to do so. Kudos to you. But again, I think we need to our thoughts must be with the schools that are currently really struggling to prepare and ready themselves mentally and physically for what's coming this coming Monday. And then allow me to also use the opportunity to congratulate. I know it's old news. I know it's happened a couple of weeks ago that you've heard the announcement of the NSC results 2021. But I mean, the overall the pass rate was 76.4, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it was a commendable effort, given the fact that last year's or the class of 2021 was the grade 11s of 2020, and they were the most affected in terms of the hard lockdown and the disruption in the schooling. And so I think, kudos to them. I know the Western Cape came in at number 3 with the Free State number 1, and of course Gauteng in second place. But nonetheless, it's not about the rankings here. It's about saluting the efforts of all the teachers, learners, parents, and all educational and role players in this process. And so, and then also, our thoughts go with those matriculants who didn't make the cut this time around, who were not successful necessarily. I want to say to you, boys and girls, this is not the end. Use the opportunity and apply for that rewrite or for your supplementary exams. I know, as I've explained already, this year wasn't easy at all, or the last 2 years, in fact. So don't beat yourself up about it. Speak to people or talk to people if you need to do so, and know that this is but a test of your character, and then you'll bounce back. Before you know it, this year would have been completed, and you would have written your subs or your subs your supplementary exams, and see this as a challenge and an opportunity to reinvent yourself and aim higher than before. So everything of the best to the class of 2021. Now tonight, our first guest, ladies and gentlemen. He's a bit of a social media sensation. He's been around for a while, I would imagine. I just discovered him a couple of weeks ago when we posted some of his videos. I call him the dancing teacher, but he describes himself as a teacher, obviously, a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur, a coach, a philanthropist, a family man, but he forgot to mention dancer. So let's take a look. Who am I talking about? Well, I had such a laugh when I saw that. Mogammad Shukr Hartzenberg from Western Province Preparatory School in Cape Town. How are you doing, sir?
Mr. H, Mr. Hoffmann, Lee Hoffmann. I've got to say I'm very well. It's been a busy day, but to be honest with you, I'm in good spirits. I think, no, it's been a wonderful day, and yeah, I'm good. I'm very good. Thank you for having me here today. Oh, really appreciate it.
Well, I can imagine being a grade 4 or learner in your class. I mean, there's probably never a dull moment. I mean, tell us very shortly. I mean, we're going to talk about it later, but where did this dancing thing come from? What was the motivation behind this?
Firstly, when I was young and actually was in primary school, one of the challenges that I had as a person was actually I used to stutter. So one of the issues that I dealt with as a child was being able to engage with the class, being able to engage with my friends, and I was very withdrawn as a person, you know. And when I moved from one school to the other, and I think it was grade 4 as well. I was forced to kind of engage with people that I was unfamiliar to, and that created a sense of, I think it was the start of when I realized the importance of just stepping out of a comfort zone. And the wonderful thing about this is, so when I was always awkward, I'll be the guy in the class party. I don't speak much, but if you play a song at the class party, and then what's happening to Shukr? This guy got moves, you know what I mean? So there will always be that moment. And I think I've just realized of realizing the space that we've been in over the 2 years. I looked at the social media and I used to do quite a bit of writing in terms of just always putting motivational stuff out on Facebook. And then I said, you know what? There's something happening in social media that we as teachers need to be prepared for. And one of it is that we've got to find a way in order to connect with those we don't really reach. And to me, I realized TikTok was the one way in which I've discovered that the kids of today, or anybody perhaps, go to that space to find some enjoyment, just to lose steam, whether it's jokes, dance, and whichever thing. So I realized of using that platform to push a message of inspiration, and using the fact that something that I've loved doing, that I used when I was younger, as a means to motivate others. And I just want to spark conversation about positivity. I think that's kind of what I'm pushing and trying to achieve with my dancing.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it's one of our technical glitches. Yeah, no, listen, I was saying you are doing the things absolutely, and I mean, just listening to you, I always say to the teachers at school, colleagues, we must bring energy to that school, man. That doesn't help saying I'm coming to school at 6 o'clock in the morning. What energy do you bring? And I mean, when this is the first time that we meet, and I can already feel the tangible energy in your voice. So keep going, man. Yeah, listen, Shukr, now tell me, just give me a brief sort of overview of your journey in education, where you come from. Who's this person, Shukr Hartzenberg?
Well, I attended primary school at Alfala Primary School, and that's based in Manenberg, Short Park, Manenberg. I think the people call it the upper part of Manenberg. To be honest with you, Manenberg is Manenberg, Yeah. And I think so. I've been at Alfala Primary. I've been engaged. I just love my enjoyment at the school. I learned sports, and as I said to you, I wasn't the one being the loud person in class. I actually just use my dance to kind of connect and just be part of that sense. In high school, I went to Groenvlei High School. I'm sure I'm going to lie to you because I can't remember the percentage of passing in terms of matric, but they always try to kind of create opportunities for boys, for girls, just to kind of develop skills and be active citizens in the communities. And I think a lot that I have learned in my space, or what I'm doing today, is because I've been shaped based on the teachers that taught me. And then the wonderful thing, and I think the most beautiful thing that I just to share, my teacher at Alfala Primary was taught by one of my teachers at high school, which Alfala Primary, Mr. Flock and Mr. Dolly at Groenvlei. And they shaped me, to be honest with you, the love for community, the love for just being a kind person, the love for just being yourself no matter your situation. And I must say, in terms of those two schools, that really shaped in laying the foundation of why I can do what I do today. And obviously utilizing opportunities, in terms of my teaching, whatever school I've taught at. I think so. That's a bit of a background in terms of the schools that I've went to. And you know what, being the second eldest in a family of 6 boys, can you imagine
That's a big family, eh?
It's a huge family, not big. It's like, and I mean, we all play rugby. We're all very active in sports, and we've realized how to utilize our opportunities, how we can just capitalize on that, so
Yeah.
that we can use opportunities given, whether it was sports, academics, and use it as stepping stones to better our own lives, but also better in pursuing to improve the lives of others. And I think that's
Yeah.
kind of just who I am. Yeah, in terms of where I come from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think a great deal of who you are as a teacher today, as you rightfully said, was as a result of the investment made by your role models as teachers, and that
100%.
that just sort of drives the message home that teaching is a work of art. It's not just a job. And really, if you're going to be in it for the wrong reason, you're going to find yourself frustrated. You're going to find a frustrated child in your class, and that is not job satisfaction. So no, you're on the right. And I mean, I salute the two teachers that you've mentioned now, because they've really passed the baton on well in your case, by the way. Now, Shukr, tell me, man, the school where you come from, it's got a very funny sort of, is it a nickname? Is it Wet Pups? Talk to me. What's the school where you come from
At the
in the
moment,
Western Cape?
so the school I'm teaching at the moment, I've moved in 2019. It's my first year. So this is
Yeah,
my third year, going to my fourth year.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's independent Anglican school.
All
It's a
right.
boys' school, and previously I've worked at public schools. And there's a bit of a difference in if you understand when you talk about independent schools, we know the vast difference from public to independent schools. However, I think what I've realized in this space is the focus on values, the focus of wanting to develop boys who are ignited or stimulated through curiosity, making sure that we reach boys in our ensuring that every boy's reach and their potential is actually awakened through the process of uh, sports,
Yeah.
arts, um, curriculum, whatever it is, we offer social responsibility. And I think that's the school that I'm at this very moment. And obviously, some people are like, so why do you move from a public school, but you actually sign up to be a teacher to make a difference in under-resourced, let me just say that under-resourced schools, or schools in lower income areas? Why do you go to a Model C school? To be honest with you, that was a huge question that I had for myself.
Yeah.
But I needed to understand what I can achieve in a public school and what I can achieve in an independent school. And you're servicing a different community. You serve in both ways. But I always said, as a student of learning, when I studied at UWC, in my second year, I said to myself, one day I would like to compare education from an under-resourced perspective, school in low income areas, and
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
school from a very independent and more affluent background. And I wanted to make the comparison. And I look at the journey and where I find myself, how I utilize the digital space, and how I'm adding value in terms of conversation with regard to um, relative modern trends in education, and how
Yeah.
this school is equipping me with an opportunity to kind of just refine the way I'm putting myself over in the community, in society, but
Yeah.
more importantly, finding ways to bridge the gap between schools from public and with public schools and also independent
Yeah.
schools. So
Sure.
I want to mention that we've got a very active with a future teacher academy providing opportunities to students who come from low income areas, where
Yeah.
we've identified that that's one of the areas that the school need to invest in, and they're actually
Yeah.
doing that. We do
Yeah.
have a scholarship fund, and you know what I mean. So I think those are key essence in terms of having people who's been working in public schools, having
Mhm.
that story and understanding how we can hopefully shape the space at this independent school, which is so
No,
phenomenal.
no, I think no, I love what I hear, because my follow-up question to you was going to be: do you believe that there's a role that, let's go say, the so-called the more affluent schools have to play in terms of reaching out to the under or less resource schools? And you've already answered my question on that one. But listen, I want to
Just
greet
on
people.
another note,
Yes.
I must tell you this because I've been so privileged because this year it's my first year as the head of social responsibility. So if you can see this, how the circle is closing in terms of where it come from and how our school is advancing in spaces that is unknown to the community and finding ways to connect. So I'm just very privileged to be in the position where I am to kind of add value in this discourse in conversation. So I just thought of just mentioning that, because I think it's just part of my journey in education.
Yeah. No, no, let me tell you, you are oozing with passion, Mania, and keep going. I just want to say hi to some of the viewers or the followers that, or let's say the friends of the page who's joined tonight. There's a Leroy from Cape Town, or Retreat. Thank you, Leroy. Hi, welcome, and thanks for joining. There's Nina who says good evening from Parklands. Oh, Parklands is far. They're in the Milnerton area. And then Kiara Palston says, I'm here too. Hi, Kiara. Shireen Lowe is from the district office at Metro South, if I'm not mistaken. And then Theola Phillips. Hey, Theola Phillips. Theola's deputy principal. Theola, I'm going to get the name of the school wrong now. I think it's Fora Primary. Forgive me if I'm getting it wrong. But yeah, she's been appointed there as from 1st of Jan this year. Well done. Alvina Africa says, good evening, watching all the way from the Retreat. Well, Alvina, our next guest is also from Retreat. Maybe you guys are acquainted, eh? Who knows? Bryn Winter. Bryn, you also from the district office. It seems like the district office is represented here tonight, the special support, the special needs team. And then Shireen Low, I love, yeah, Shukr, that's one for you. I love watching your dance videos. Shukr, it gives me oomph to carry on, and it's a great plus and inspiration to our learners. I think that's very, very, thank you for sharing that, and I'm sure Shukr appreciates that. I'll flag the last one, and then I'm moving on. Fiola says, I just love his TikToks. Probably really picks me up, and he's been busy the entire December holidays, no rest. It's admirable to say the least. You see, sir, your those dance moves of yours, it's contagious, and it inspires those that you don't even know. But yeah, keep going. And then there's a lot of people that are now just saying love the dance moves and. But I'll pause there for now, and then I want to our next guest. It's a first-time teacher, and she's a mathematical literacy teacher at Sibelius High School in Retreat. And I'm talking to Chandre Jonas. Chandre, welcome to the Western Cape Teachers Forum. How are you tonight?
Good, good. Thank you for having me here this evening. It's really appreciated.
Chandre, when I entered my classroom for the very first time as a new teacher at Parkhurst Primary School in Mitchells Plain in 2007, man, it was a frightening experience. I promise you, even though it was a grade 4 class, nothing prepares you for the real deal. Now, just reflect on the first few days or weeks at least as to your experience. How has it been? And talk to us about that.
I can vouch for your frightening. If I must be honest with you, my anxiety levels was quite high the first day. It felt like a little child going for the first time to big school or somebody's going to high school. You don't know just what to expect. So you're just afraid. Will you fit in? Will you adjust immediately? What are you going to expect? And now being a teacher, you're on the opposite side now. But that fear was still there. You understand? But if I could say, like the first few weeks that I am now teaching, it is an utmost joy to be teaching. I'm loving finally my heart's desire. It's a dream come true. And here I am in the teaching profession.
Now, some of our more experienced folk might be sitting and listening. Ooh, girl, Jay's by ambitious. Let's see what it looks like after about a year or so. Now, what do you say to somebody who says to you, no, man, Chandre, why did you go into teaching? Why would anybody go into teaching? What motivated you?
I think if I should rephrase, why not go into teaching? It is the profession to be at. You're creating all other professions. You are helping another person do better in their life. You're just being there to be, not even anymore as a teacher. You're there as a mother at the end of the day as well. You're there as a social worker. You're there as a child's, caregiver at the end of the day. So let me rephrase your question. Why not teaching?
Yo, that's like not why me, try me, eh?
Yeah.
Shukr, tell me, man, can you remember those first couple of days as a freshman from the varsity? Eh? What was that? What were those days like for you?
Yeah. I've always been very ambitious. I've always tried to, I've got to be ready. And I think, because different colleges or universities have different programs. And one thing at UWC, what I appreciate was the fact that we've done a lot of theoretical work, but we've also had the once a week going to school, getting from your first year. So because I did the BA program, from your first year, you at the school, at certain block periods, you've got a week at the school. And I've always been a guy like saying, I want to look like when I walk in there as a first-time student, I want to look like I'm part of the staff. Because I need to make sure that I demonstrate that to the staff, number one, that if you guys can call me back when I'm done, I want to be ready and you can employ me. So I've always said to myself, you know what? So the moment you go to the school, you advocate and you kind of project who you are as an individual and what your ambitions are. But, the first time, so I've been very blessed in that because I've been part of my teacher training. I've been exposed to the spaces. I've enjoyed seeing how the staff engage in other schools, making my observations, utilizing those spaces, and I think that really enriched when I started schooling. It wasn't unfamiliar, and I think many first-time teachers can concur. Sometimes universities don't prepare you because they don't tell you about curveballs and what do you do in a situation that you didn't read in the textbook. And those are the things that I was lucky that I was able to translate theory into practice. And just to make sure that I learned from also mentor teachers because they've been a great help in my process. Because it will be wrong if I should claim that I've felt comfortable if it wasn't for my mentor teachers. That I latched. If I know somebody's experience, I will latch onto them. I will actually listen and I will appreciate the guidance so that I can manage through the process. And I think I was very fortunate to have that opportunities.
No, I think it's crucial to have mentoring and orientation. I mean, Chandre, I'm just reminded. I'm just thinking about how beneficial it would have been if there was an official mentoring system. Where as a first year teacher, in terms of, there are simple things like classroom management. Yes, we talk textbook things, but the minute you're in there, the contexts are very different. You can't apply a universal strategy on every school in this country. So I think at school, the school-based sort of mentoring system is important for first-time teachers. You don't want to feel flustered and like you do not belong there. The last thing you want is for those first-time teachers to be discouraged in the first year. But if you were to reflect on a couple of role models, Chandre, role model teachers, those who made significant contribution or impact in your life, who would those be? And what type of teachers were those?
Okay, I think I wouldn't point out those specific, but if I should think back of primary school teachers, I attended Sullivan Primary, so they laid a foundation for me to move forward. And then if I think of my high school teachers at Sibelius High, they mold me for who I am today. And now the same teachers of Sibelius High that was my teachers are now my colleagues are still guiding me, still motivating me, still, telling me how to do this, how to do that. So overall, all the teachers that was in my life played a crucial role. Then there's one teacher as well that I would highlight is my mentor teacher for a couple of months. That is Mr. Nokar from Two Oceans Leadership Academy. He has been an utmost joy to work with. He guided me with maths. He guided me with lesson plans. He guided me basically with everything. And he did retire as well. So, that is who I would like to point out. So it would be my primary school teachers, high school teachers, and specifically Mr. Kaur.
No, listen, Shukr, it would be irresponsible. I'm listening to her and look, kudos to Mr. Kaur, among other role models that inspire us and all of that. But there are times that teachers experience, I don't want to use the word depression, but that we're going through this period of negativity sometimes, the stresses of the job, the things that we hate about the job. We love the job, but there are some things that frustrates us. Let me use the word frustration. What are those things, Shukr, that you believe Chandre should sort of watch out for? And how do you suggest one cope with some of those pitfalls?
I think the important thing is that if you're expecting to be perfect, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. You need to have an open mindset that despite you being a graduate, you've got to allow yourself to know that you will make mistakes while you go along. You've got to understand that introspection is a vital part of ensuring that it will guide you to what you need to do on a daily basis. So if you can check yourself and you can introspect and you can actually say, oh, I just said that now, and I saw it respond from someone or a learner. I didn't actually, it was unintended. Are you able to recognize that firstly? Are you able to recognize the shortcomings? Are you able to recognize what are the things that you've got to work on in order to be true to the process of learning? Because you're in a space of learning, and we've got to have an open mindset. And if you understand the space now, they talk about the growth mindset, fixed mindset, growth mindset. And I think that's the kind of conversations that you've got to prepare yourself so that you have it with yourself. And the moment you engage with people, people see a calm you. They see that you are sorted. You know how to manage things. And even though some people are running around because I'm not complying. I'm supposed to comply. My deadline didn't meet my deadline. You've got to go back and ask yourself, how am I approaching my daily activities? How am I planning my weekends? How am I going about my priorities and my responsibilities? Because you've got to be true to yourself, true to the process, true to the people you're working with, so that you've got to elevate towards a better sense of understanding. And I will always remember that one of my lecturers, Dr. Omar at UWC, he made a very good point when I studied, and he said to me that when you follow a scientific approach of inquiry, and when within yourself or anybody else, whatever you study, you become a spiritual leader in that process, because the seeking of knowledge provide you with a sense of heightened enrichment, self-awareness. And once we can understand that, I promise you, people can throw so many things at you. You'll be calm and you'll know how to manage it. And I think that's what it is. And it's about taking control over your situation, taking control over where you are and what you're experiencing, so that you can become the solution and advocate people to become solutions in the future.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where we're working towards in terms of the boys with the skills, 21st century skills. So if we want them to learn that, why are we not applying it to our lives?
No, you're making absolute sense. But I want to say this, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to reflect on this, both of you, and I'll give you an opportunity to respond individually. But I want to think about this one. What advice would you give to 18-year-old Shukr? And Chandre, what advice would you give to Chandre, matriculant at wherever you were? I mean, the world was awaited you the year thereafter. You didn't know what to do, I suppose. But I want you to just reflect on that for a few seconds. I just want to go back to the comments and see who we've missed. And when we come back to that, I want you to explain to me, what would you say to your 18-year-old self? Given, I mean, we all have the benefit of hindsight, looking back. Oh, yes, we could have, we should have. But at that point, what do you believe would have been the best advice? While you guys are reflecting on that, I want to just flag a few comments, and these are the last few comments I'm going to flag before we land this plane. Who's this? Katerina. Is it Catherine? Longway. Jody Leepool. Join me, Miss. Who's that? Are you guys having private conversations here? Tanya van Graan. Tanya says, love the dancing moves. Tanya, I use Tanya as the principal at Highlands Primary in Mitchells Plain. And Gail says, love watching your videos. May you go from strength to strength. That's in reference to Mr. H's, dance moves there. And okay, Theola says, thank you much. Okay, Theola. And then Brent says, congrats, Theola. Okay, that's in on Theola's appointment. Let me see. Alvina says, what is Alvina saying? We're very close. She's like a sister. We're so proud of her. She's a real role model to many of our communities. Children, as she's also involved in Scouts. I'm super proud of you, Chandra. Well done. And then Diane is the principal at Windsor High School in is it Rondebosch East? I think. Lovely to hear the energetic voices of our young teachers. Keep the passion and the flame burning always. Thank you, Diane, for tuning in. And then there's Madeline, who tuned in from Paul and says, love this. Shireen says, what is Shireen saying? Lee, we need more of these shows to give our novice teachers a platform to share. I agree, and that is a reason, or one of the reasons why we keep going, because this is a platform where we connect and network and share best practices and share the job opportunity, the odd ones at least. And so this is really just a hub of connectivity, I would almost want to call it. All right, and then there's a number of other. Miss Morgan says, Well said, Mr. Hartzenberg. Teaching is a skill, and to master the skill, we need to keep learning and being innovative. Quite agree. I'm going to flag the last one. Chandre Jonas, Theola, and the rest of our colleagues, please get involved with the Transform to Perform program within our schools. Would love to see your presence in these programs. Like Mrs. B says, you're definitely a breath of fresh air. Okay, well, there's some advice there. Now, let's start with ladies first, Chandre, and then we'll ask you to take it out. So, Chandre, go. Chandre is 18 years old. What do you say to her?
Okay, if I should speak to me then, I would really tell myself that life is really full of possibilities. You should be the seed and plant it where you can nurture yourself and grow and be blooming for other people. Let other people also enjoy your fruits that you harbor.
Sure. You guys are just being deep tonight. I mean, you know. Well, I mean, what do I say after that? Mr. H, you go.
You know what? I had doubts of understanding where and what I needed to do. And I had two things. One, wanting to make impact into the community, environment, society, one. Other one was making money, a whole lot of money, to then ensure that I would be able to provide opportunities to those who don't have. So if I look at myself in this space, if I must give myself advice, then I'll say, brother, you made a great choice. Keep doing what you're doing. Because if I didn't embrace the challenges then, and I didn't step out of the comfort zone, I wouldn't have been here today. So I think because my first year when I was matric, I didn't have money to go first study the following year.
This is playing up a little bit there.
So can you hear me now? Is it good?
Yeah.
Is it fine?
Let's try again. Yeah.
So when I was matric, my father didn't have money. The following year, I went to go work, and then I went to go get some money. But then the following year, I didn't have enough. To be honest with you, if I can just turn back the time and I'll say, listen, start earlier. Don't let money dictate where you will end up. Because sometimes when you don't have a lot of money, you don't have all the answers. We make excuses. But what I'm grateful for, to be honest with you, is that through no matter how many years has passed, I've kept the focus on the goal. Because the same conversation I had then, I'm having now. But now I'm more in a position to execute and act on those things that I set out for myself. And just to represent where I come from. And it's just, I think, just knowing that once you work on yourself and you believe in where you come from and how you can add value to other people's lives, that is just such an amazing experience. And through networking and through engaging with people, making new connections, understanding how you can offer yourself to others and actually serving others, you will then forever be enriched. So you know what? I think we've got to hold on to what we have and be grateful for what we have, and that's the most important thing I think that I'll tell myself.
Sure. Now, on that very inspirational note, Mr. Hartzenberg and Ms. Jonas, thank you very much for giving us your time, your valuable time to come and share of yourselves here on the platform. It has been an absolute treat. You guys are so deep. So there's the amount of depth. it's really welcoming, and our education sector needs people like yourselves to. I mean, you spoke about your teacher role models, Shukr, and Ms. Jonas spoke about Mr. Carr and all of that. But really, I can mention a number of them as well. And I think if it wasn't for those heroes that came before us, we would not have been where we are today. And so sometimes we need to just, take a moment and salute our heroes, those who made it possible for us to be and to turn out to be the people that we are today. So from me to you guys, thank you very, very much for sharing. That's unfortunately all we have time for tonight. And so the rest of the colleagues and the friends and followers, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to end off with a very nice, we're going to play us out with Shukr's dance move. So we're hopefully gonna share some more videos of his on the Feel Good Friday initiative. So from us to you guys, thank you very much for tuning in. God bless, stay safe, and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
It's a vibe right here. Hold on. Y'all ready? Okay, step, reverse, step, slide, come on, slide, slip slippity slide. Chicken head with it, chicken head with it, chicken head with it, chicken head with it. Cross, cross, pop, 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 clap. Dang P, how you do it like that? Rock your body, rock, rock your body. Rock your body, rock, rock your body. Kick that, rock back, look back, give me that pump, that sweet, that gushy stuff. It's a vibe right here, it's a vibe right here, go crazy. It's a vibe right here. It's a vibe right here. Hold on, you ready? Okay, step, 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 reverse, step, 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 slide, come on, slide, come on, slide, slide, slippity slide. Chicken head with it, chicken head with it, chicken head with it, chicken head with it. Cross, cross, pop, 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 clap. Dang P, how you do it like that? Rock your body, rock, rock your body. Rock your body, rock, rock your body. Kick that, rock back, look back, give me that pump, that sweet, that gushy stuff. It's a vibe right